Mike Smith here, your sports information director on the Boxer Sports Network, and joined by Brent Johnson, of course, faculty member here in the English department at Pacific University. And Brent, you're also now the faculty athletic representative, of course, taking over and having that co-duties with Lisa this year. But then you'll be full time in that position by yourself starting next academic year. But Brent, thanks for taking the time, and looking forward to chatting with you.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Brent, just talk about, obviously you're in the English department, as I mentioned, but fill everybody in on what you do here at Pacific and, kind of give everybody a little bit of background on you.
Sure. So I've been at Pacific for 17 years, and that number sticks with me because when I first started here, my son, who's 17 years old, he's a senior in high school at Glencoe High School right now in Hillsboro. I remember coming into Bates' house, and I'd have one of those baby Bjorns on, and he'd be riding right there in the front. And now he's I don't know what, 9 months away from going to college himself. So that definitely helps me kind of remember how long I've been at Pacific. So I teach in the English department, as Mike said. My specialties were in creative writing, and I focus on poetry and creative nonfiction. I also direct the first year seminar program here at Pacific, and I've been in that capacity for several years. Kind of lost count, to be honest. But those are sort of the main duties that I've had, and really enjoy working with the first year seminar program too, as a way of just ensuring how there's some really neat connections that can be made with athletics there, with our summer text, with really identifying students who might need that extra little lift and support from others. And so that collaboration between the faculty and the coaches, I've seen it in the past, has been really important.
Nice. You talk about obviously being here for 17 years at Pacific, and you now get to make a little bit of a different impact, obviously, in the new role that you have too. What kind of brought you to Pacific originally, and what's kind of something maybe that sticks out to you over your time as well that you've enjoyed about Pacific?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the main reasons I came here, partially was just sort of location. My wife is from Portland area. She grew up, went to Lincoln High School. Don't tell her I told you this, but she was a Rose Princess there. She hates me making that public, but but so this is sort of a coming back home for her when we finished up with graduate school. And so and then it was more or less kind of looking around at different universities, and I love the size of Pacific. I love the fact that this was a place where teaching was given preference. And so those are some of the main reasons why I really was excited to come here. Some of the things too that I feel that makes Pacific special, in a place where I'm really glad that I'm still here, is exactly those things I was just talking about. Making the connections with students. I've never really felt like I was a consultant that sort of came in and taught and delivered information or whatever. It felt much more all-encompassing in terms of having those relationships, getting to know the students and to see them kind of move, especially from their first year into their senior theses, and just seeing how they become different people over the time here at Pacific. And I think that's been one of my favorite parts, is just really feeling, connected to everybody.
Now you get to obviously transition into the role of faculty athletic representative, and what kind of interested you in that role and kind of taking that over?
Yeah. Well, I grew up playing sports and watching sports myself. So, that's always been something I really, been intrigued by. Boy, I was a big baseball card collector when I was a kid. Loved baseball, played soccer through high school. And then my wife and I have been coaching our sons' soccer teams since they were in first grade all the way up through eighth grade. And so, having done that for that many years, I really started to understand what it was like to be a coach. And I understood what it was like for some of these kids to have that outlet and that identity building piece through athletics. And I know, having sort of coach them in that role, that really was a big interest of mine, and thinking of like, it made me understand how there is a wonderful opportunity there for coaching and faculty and all the other elements on campus to really kind of work together, and not be seen so separately. And that I think was really a big reason of why I was interested in the position.
What's maybe something you're looking forward to the most? Obviously, being in this role that you can kind of make an impact with.
Yeah. Um, I guess I'm really excited. I sort of related to what I was talking about there in terms of building some type of web where there's a really nice communication line between the faculty and the coaching staff and the AD. And when there are students that are identified, as needing a little bit more support, or just having like one conversation that echoes across campus, I think that's one of my main reasons and purposes for wanting to take the position. What I'm excited to kind of work on. I think too, school spirit is really important, and I'd love to just if I can be any sort of advocate for more faculty members to attend sporting events, to kind of understand how athletics is a really meaningful part for a lot of students in their lives. I think that would be a great thing too, is just kind of building up that whole school spirit piece.
Nice. Well, Brent, thanks for taking the time to chat with me, man. It's been a pleasure, and looking forward to seeing you around on campus. When we can actually, fully be on campus and everything.
Exactly.
But best of luck with the rest of the semester.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.